And now, here I am. I'm one of Larry boys. I'm coming from Hoover. My chief, Larry Hoover, is sitting in the same place as Dr. Malachi, the Nuwabian chief. Right? The same place my kindred chief, Chief Malik Angel Bay, who is the chief from my hometown from the other side of the family tree. He out the red. It's in the same place as Malachi. Right? Another chief sit here and watch this farce of a trial. Imam Abu Jamal Al-Amin. Y'all know him in the history books as H. Rap Brown. Same place. The U.S. government, the largest drug dealing organization that has ever been caught red-handed, when it involves the President of the United States, Ronald Wilson Reagan, the Vice President of the United States, George Herbert Walker Bush, and members of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, but the one who led it was Oliver North. They the biggest drug dealing organization that has ever been caught red-handed. They were selling drugs in America. They was buying guns from the military in America. And they were selling these guns and small munitions to the enemy in violation of the Trading with the Enemy Act and got caught red-handed. They was trading the guns to Iran as the compensation for the Iran hostage crisis that didn't even take place in Iran. Let that sink in. That plane was never in Iran during the Iran hostage crisis. They was on a military base in Arizona the whole time in order to create this construct that the citizens of an American flight was captured by the Iranian government, the Persians, in history, who was the founders of ancient Babylon, who began a breeding programs at the base of the Mount Sionai. The Mount Sinai is sin, which is the God Knitter sin. And Ai is the way that you say a mountain or a hill, a large hill, a mountain. And Sinai became known as Zion. Before it was Zion, between Zion and Sinai, it was the Sion. Watch the letters and the flips of the S's and the Z's. Right? Now, these same people still here running the same scam being exposed. Right? And they calling themselves Zionist Jews. And they over there, they financed and created Hamas as the Mossad operation. The same way that the United States, under the orders of Barack Obama, created this entity called ISIL that became known to the broadcasters of the news media as ISIS. And that was a direct attack to the rise and return of the matriarchy, because now they have to dirty up the name of the divine feminine, the great mother, or Set. We call it Isis in English. And this is the same that it is in Greek. But they told you it was Jesus. But the J 500 years old, and the Greek is 2,000 years old. So 1,500 years before there was ever a J, they was using the I, but in order to confuse you, they made you become fishers of men looking for a woman. The whole time they told you to your face, behind your back. The reason why they made the J is to confuse the language. They find both sides from Switzerland. They all been rounded up. A lot of people late as hell. They all been rounded up. They didn't round them up in Switzerland. They didn't rounded all of the royals up. The royals have surrendered their royals to a guy named J.F. Kalungi Jr. For those who don't know who that is, that's John F. Kennedy Jr. The Kalungi name comes off of his association with the Onassis family, who gave him the name Kalungi when he hid him out and rescued him from the assassination. But we don't know nothing about that stuff because we don't know what these people doing, even though they telling us, right? So straighten out the J. The backwards J is the letter Lam. And the letter Lam stands for the word lo, which takes us from Malachi in reverse engineering back to the prophecy of Elijah in the book of Lam, back to the book of Malachi, right? So they played us like a Stradivarius. It's really pronounced Stradivarius, but it just sounded funnier to say Stradivarius. Anyway, let me go on my corny humor. So we have to reorganize. We have to get a tribe that had already been purged of the infiltrators, right? And this tribe got to be able to secure high-level dignitaries. I got a tribe in mind, right? But that's a St. Louis knock, right? Red House, a flag maker. So when we look at these circumstances, when we looking at trying to help somebody, you can't help a person when the help is going to put them in the worst circumstance, situation, or condition than they currently in, right? You have to find a way. If you're going to be helpful, help all of the way. Don't just help some of the way. Don't tell me you're going to help me and then leave me stranded. If you're going to help me the whole way through. But most people can't endure to the end, and that's why those who endure to the end receive the crown of life, because this is not for the weak at heart. This is some heart-wrenching information to review when you can't send a man home because you got people in his family that wish ill on him because they feel like they entitled to what he built up with his empire, how he built his community. They want him to disregard who he chose to give his stuff to and give it to them because they related. It's hot. This is as bad as finding out that the goddamn white man ain't white. All this time we thought we was fighting pale faces and the white man ain't even white. This nigga walking around infiltrating our organization, smiling with us, talking about kill whitey, and he whitey. It's a sad affair. Now I know what Pac was saying. They say it's the white man I should fear, but it's my own kind doing all the killing here. He said, all my riding, I ain't never think nobody look like me will shoot me. Yeah, because they look like us, but they not us. All skin folk ain't kinfolk. It ain't about the color of your skin. It's about what's in your heart. Are you ride or die, or are you ready to die? It's a difference, right? Some people will ride with you till the shit get thick. Then they bail it. But then you got some that when the shit ain't thick, you can't find them. But when they get thick, you can't get rid of them. They making sure you straight through the hard part. And because we don't hear about them when times is easy, we assume that they not watching in case they need it. But see, certain people pay attention to the people that's good for them and good to them. Some people pay attention to the wrong people. They pay attention to the ones that's good for their ego. But that ain't good for your soul. Your ego and soul can't digest the same meal. Your ego is fed off inflammatory rhetoric. Your soul is fed off pure, unadulterated truth and love. They don't eat the same thing. Right? So don't fill me with inflammatory rhetoric and try to stroke my ego, right? When I'm trying to build my soul, because you become an obstacle in my path and you're going to get stepped on. Everything that I be doing, I know what I'm doing. But the people that's trying to figure out what I'm doing, they don't know what I'm doing, and they driving themselves mad trying to figure out what I'm doing as if they don't see me doing it in real time. Everything that I said, I produced. Receipts. They don't know nothing about the kinds of war till I brought it up. Now people starting to produce more receipts on top of the receipts that I already produced. When I came and I said we was already here, I wasn't the first one said it. But because I tied together so many other people that said it before me, that I'm not basing it on pulling something out my tail and blowing the smoke up in the air. Then they know, wait a minute, he knows something, but I don't know what he know, but I know everything that he's saying is checking out. We writing a new reality as we speak by changing the perception of those who had been duped. Right? And so once you realize that anything that's biblical is a post 1492 invasion doctrine. And the Torah was written after the New Testament because the New Testament needed a backstory. So they went back to the hieroglyphics and they rewrote the story and gave us a backstory, but they don't follow that. They follow the Mishnah and the Talmud. They don't follow the Torah. That's for the backstory of the Christians. Because you need the Jews to validate the Christians. And then you need the Muslims to validate them both by all going to war with each other in the big old game of ring around the rosy. They all holding hands. They all in bed together. You didn't know that the highest imam in the world was the Pope. You didn't know that the highest rabbi in the Jewish community was the Pope. You didn't know the highest authority in the Christian church was the Pope. How did he get to be the highest ranking out of all of the three monotheistic religions if they not related? They got a church in Vatican City. They got a synagogue in Vatican City. And they have a masjid in Vatican City. And they trying to tell y'all to choose a side, and they is in bed with all of them. They got a primary bank and bank reserve vault in Vatican City. For the bankers to do banking with priests. Because banking is a priesthood. This is why they use Babylonian money magic as the ritual of the priesthood in order to monitor the flow of the energy of the egregore. And that's why that's the current that you see. It's the dye marker in the water. It's a side, but it ain't the sides they telling us. It's the side of right and it's the side of wrong. It's God's side and then it's everybody else's side. God about what's right. And all of them other people keep coming in my video and under my post talking about what's your nationality. I'm a sovereign. I'm superior to a national. Don't ask my nationality again. I'm a sovereign. From the land, of the land, by the land, for the land. And for the people of the land. I ain't nobody's national. I'm nobody's citizen. I'm not a corporate asset. But I'm a corporate liability to all of them people that's leeching off our people. Go back and read the continuity of government document again so y'all can catch up to where we are. We in the reconstitution of government final phase. As the power structure shift, jurisdictional supremacy will shift, but we have to follow this path of redemption that the ancestors laid for us. And if you don't know what it is, it's above your pay grade. Because all of them gave a piece. And you don't know how to put it together, then sit your tail down and watch the master while he works. See, we sit here and we won't, and we won't, and we won't, but we don't want to do nothing about it. We want everything in the universe to fall in our lap so we can say we manifested something. Manifestation requires assertion of energy. Why? Because if the energy doesn't move, the manifestation is delayed through stagnation of energy. This is why Paul told y'all faith without works is dead. That means that if you believe something gonna happen, but you do nothing to make it happen, you just believe it in vain. You have to put in a certain amount of labor effort, what we call due diligence, according to your level of comprehension and understanding. Do the best you can with what you know, to each one teach one something that you know is tangible. That's all you can do. As you learn better, you're supposed to do better. And if you do better, you're going to eventually start to teach better. Because that's part of the mission. As a human, we pass information to other humans in order to weave an understanding of what's taking place according to who sees the problem best. How do you know who sees the problem best? The one who sees the problem best is obligated to lead by ancestral decree, not because he want to be the leader. And when he put in the front, it's like Rudolph. Rudolph ain't the oldest reindeer. He ain't the biggest reindeer. It's just the reindeer that can see through the fog because his nose lit up. Right? And if you go straight up the bridge of your nose, you hear your third eye. It's all reverse indoctrination. They tell you the story backwards for you to flip it. This is called flipping the Lucifer lens. When you understand that your optics already flip everything to give you the illusion that you right side up, when you walking upside down and you don't even know it. So your optics gives you the impression that while you in the upside down world, that you really in the right side up world. Yep, the nose knows. Right, so we got all of these leaders in distress, including man. I have a particular talent based on my childhood upbringing and my later education and learning about so many different subjects that allows me to be able to look into a situation and see things other people cannot see. Right? It's a show called The Pretender, where he could study a subject by reading up on the subject, and then he come out and then he can exercise that skill he learned from the study in real life. Everybody can't do that.